I don't know if any of you caught the Dan Le Batard interview with, Tony Kahn. And Tony Kahn is now, once again, complaining about how WWE is treating him. And what I've come to realize is people want a wrestle war until wrestle war starts to happen. Tony's complaining that WWE behind the scenes is trying to screw up things with his partners like New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're trying to get talent to break their contracts. And everyone in wrestling fandom and IWC seems to be up in arms about it. But I'm wondering, did you guys forget how wrestle wars go? Did you forget what WWE and WCW did to each other all through the 90s? Which then adversely affect ECW to force them out of business? So somehow WWE was supposed to just keep taking shots this entire time and do nothing about it. I think everyone expected a wrestle war where AEW did whatever they wanted and WWE was going to somehow be the bigger man and not do anything. That's not how it works. And it's kind of beautiful to see Tony being surprised by it and all of AEW fans, which I am one, being surprised by it because it's kind of a perfect encapsulation of the modern era of fandom or just society in general. No one wants the smoke they asked for. And Tony does not want the smoke he asked for. And now he's about it. I come from a different generation, a more hip hop generation. If you beefing with somebody, don't bitch about it. Be about it. Beat them. It's what Bischoff did for 83 weeks. No matter how you feel about him, he did it. He pulled it. Tony said in an interview with Yahoo years ago that what he learned from competitive marketing research. Look at Burger King. They shit on McDonald's. Look at Coca-Cola. They shit on Pepsi. But what Tony forgot was, while doing that, they also developed an identity. You could also say what Coke is. You can also say what Burger King is. Can any of us really say what AEW is? A bunch of good matches in an industry where the work rate is high already, everywhere. Good matches aren't necessarily special anymore. And I want to point out, I've been with AEW since the first weekend they were out. This hat is dirty because this was bought the first weekend they announced the forming of the company. So here I am, an AEW fan years later going, hey, the matches were great. But what is AEW? What were all the Change the World promos about? What was all the alternative talk about? Now you mad WWE woke up and said, yeah, we're not going to deal with that no more. We're going to fight back. You get the smoke you asked for. And Tony knows that when he does this, it riles up the fan base and it creates a tribalism that becomes free marketing for him. Marvel and DC did this for years. Make mine Marvel, DC Nation. Like, they try to make these fandoms be free publicity for them, and they use you, the marks, to do it. So now you got E-Drones versus AEW Freakazoids, when really it's just people who have no money in the game arguing about wrestling and keeping the engagement post up, or keeping the engagement rate up the entire time. So the question I would ask wrestling fans is, you spent all this time listening to podcasts, reading Meltzer stuff, the dirt sheets, Sean Ross Sapp, all of it. You done read all that, and somehow you enjoyed the gossip, but you're now mad at WWE for doing what WWE does in the middle of a wrestle war. This ain't new. What WWE is doing isn't new. It's all part of how wrestle wars work. And either you're going to be a mature enough adult to understand that, or you're just going to be some guy on Twitter. Pick one, Marks.